Hey guys, how's it going? As you can tell from the title of this video, I'm gonna talk to you about like how the gaming community, kind of the industry too, fell off a bit. If my voice is a bit rough, I just woke up, so forgive me. Anyways, what I want to talk about is like how gamers will bitch at major companies like Microsoft for when they want to do the whole DRM thing, which is good, you know, because nobody wants that. And I bitched about it too, and they'll bitch at Nintendo when their like big announcement at the VGX Awards is like fucking a new character, Cranky Kong or whatever his name is. I don't even know who that is, but that's like their biggest announcement. Like, and then no one seems to have a problem when companies like Activision, who decided to raise their Call of Duty DLC prices from $10 to $15 back in Modern Warfare 2. And they kept that trend going because people still bought the DLC. Or like how DICE wants to release a broken game, and I know it's not DICE's fault that it got released early, but like it's still a broken game. And they still have the nerve to charge you an extra $50 for more DLC. Now, I know you don't need to buy the DLC, but DLC shouldn't even exist in the first place. Companies who, like, they don't create it later, they create it alongside of the game. And $60 should be just enough for everything. Like, you shouldn't have to pay more. Now, I understand, like, DLC that's like, let's say how Battlefield Bad Company 2 did it, where I kind of understand how they did it back then because you needed to buy a new copy of the game. You couldn't use a used copy. Because there's a code that comes with the game, and if you put that code in, you get DLC for free. But what they did with their DLC is they split it up, so it added longevity to the game. It added more I think they added more maps. I don't know if they kept on using like the same maps, but like different areas of the map for different game modes. But that's what happened, and that I don't mind. If it's like that, that's even better. But let me give you an example of how companies are doing it nowadays, and how like why you really shouldn't be paying for all this DLC. But let's take Battlefield as an example, because right now it has like some fucking high price DLC. So this is all before taxes, by the way, so you pay $59.99 for the game, for the full game, it's not the full game, and then they want to release DLC for $49.99. So put that together, and it's gonna make $110. Now, how much is a PS4? $400. Well, if you buy everything for Battlefield, you just paid a quarter of a PlayStation. Now, no one looks at this stuff this way, and I can keep going on with examples of different games. But how about everyone plays Pokemon, right? And how would you feel if they put the legendary weapons on the cover and then they took them out of the game and wanted to release them to you as DLC? You would freak out. Most people wouldn't even buy Pokemon anymore. And personally, I think Pokemon should just die. Like, it's about time, just get it over with. Like, I know a lot of people still play it, but it's not that fun anymore. It's the same thing over and over, just different Pokemon sometimes. Like, they had a few different ones. Anyways, but why is it that like when DICE, Infinity Ward, Treyarch, Ubisoft, and the list goes on, why is it when they want to release DLC for so much and most of it is useless, especially Ubisoft's DLC, it is so useless, people just don't care. Like, they're willing to pay for it, which I don't understand why. Now, okay, that's enough talk about DLC. Like, I could keep going on with that. I don't want to make this video super long, but it will probably be pretty long. So enough with the DLC. Let's talk about rehashed games. I'm not going to spend a lot of time about this because there's already a lot of people that have talked about this, like a huge amount on YouTube. Just look up like people rehashed fucking Battlefield or something. And the one thing I want to talk about is, well, you know who I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about Call of Duty, which Battlefield, and Assassin's Creed. I'm not going to spend too much time on Call of Duty or Battlefield because, you know, a lot of people have talked about that. Now, all the COD games are the same. We already know that every year it's always the same. It's never going to change. They add a few perks here, a few guns here, and then you get the same game. Now, Battlefield, I already made 2 videos talking about Battlefield, but the thing that makes this the thing that makes this a lot better is how DICE wants to charge you $110 for a game that looks exactly like Battlefield 3. And if you really think about it, Battlefield 3 feels like if you kind of take both games now, Battlefield 3 kind of feels like a beta, because Battlefield 4 plays exactly the same way. They added a few guns here and there, you know, stuff like that, and your character your character movement is smoother. He doesn't feel weighed down as before. In Battlefield 3, your character always felt like weighed down, which sometimes I don't mind, sometimes I got annoyed by it, but it's not a big deal. And that's enough with Battlefield. If you want to hear more, I bitch about it in my other videos. I get really angry, and yeah, well, you know, people get angry at that shit, especially when you're being charged $110 for a broken game. And let's talk about Assassin's Creed. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, I love Assassin's Creed. It was the first game I ever bought. It is my favorite game series of all time, and I did buy Assassin's Creed 4. But what the hell is Ubisoft doing? Like, they refuse to stop making the game, and if you haven't been Assassin's Creed 3 yet, this is gonna be like somewhat of a spoiler alert, so you might just want to skip like 10 seconds ahead, or 15, 20, I don't care. But in Assassin's Creed 3, Desmond dies, and that's where the game should end. And Assassin's Creed 4, like, it doesn't end, and then they release Assassin's Creed 4, and they're planning on doing this every year, so Assassin's Creed 5 is coming out next year. So in Assassin's Creed 4, it's pretty much just a pirate game with the name Assassin's Creed on the cover. It's not it. If you actually play the game, listen to the story and stuff, there's not that much. It's pretty weird. So please, Ubisoft, just kill the series now before it gets any worse. Don't be like all the other game companies. Just please do it. Continue making your other great games, and just kill this one, please. And another thing I want to say real quick is, why are people so nice to companies when they fuck up? And what I mean by that is, like, when GTA 5 launched its multiplayer part of the game, because they launched them at different times, the servers couldn't handle the influx of people, and of course they started having issues. Now, you already know what the company's going to come out and tell you. They're going to be like, oh, we weren't expecting that many people to try and join and all that stuff. So what you're telling me is, you sold $800 million worth of copies on day one. And you're telling me by the time your multiplayer came out, I know you sold a lot more, you broke the billion point or whatever, the 1 billion mark. You're telling me that you didn't expect people to join, like that many people to join at the same time? And every company does this. Every company that ever has issues with their multiplayer when it first launches will make that same excuse. When it's like, you have the figures, you have all the, like, you should be ready for it, and people are just like, oh, it's okay, they'll work on it. No. GTA, for like the next 5 days, or like 4 or 5 days, I still couldn't get into the online. And it's just like, it doesn't make sense. Why are people so nice? And that's what I wanted to get to. It's just, people are so nice to these companies, and they're willing to do whatever these companies want. But like, let's say like I said, Microsoft fucks up, everybody freaks out, everyone gets mad at them. But then when GTA doesn't even have the room or the enough servers to accommodate all these people are just like, oh, it's okay, you know. Like, I know people do get mad at this stuff, but like, most people would just be like, oh, you know, whatever, I'll play the campaign I'll play the story mode until they fix their online. It shouldn't work that way with any game. Like, I'm not just going after Rockstar, I'm just saying everyone. It should not work that way, and it doesn't make sense to me why people let it work that way. So that's really all I want to get to, is just please grow a spine. If you're part of the gaming community, you really don't want to be screwed over by these people anymore. Nobody has the nerve to say this about other. Nobody has the nerve to come out and say this stuff. There's only a few big people that do this when on YouTube, which is good, and I support those people. But I'm not even gonna ask you to like and subscribe. But if you think I missed out on something, leave it in the comment section. And the only thing I will ask you to do is please share this, because it's about time, like, we put our foot down to stop letting these companies take advantage. Thank you for listening, and good day.